7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there, fellow veterans and nerds, and welcome to the first Nerdy Vet Show, episode number 1. And I am excited because we're going to talk about all kinds of things during my episodes. And one of the things we're going to talk about, obviously, is pop culture, toys, collecting, and things like that. But before we get into that, and before I introduce my guest, which probably looks familiar to a lot of you, I want to thank our sponsor over at TRG Toys and Collectibles. Make sure you check them out at trgtoys.com. And again, everybody, welcome to the first episode. And I am here with Michael Havens. You all might remember him from this little convention called ICCCon down in Nashville. Michael, welcome to the show, and welcome to the.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
The first one here. So I'm pretty excited about this. So what the Nerdy Vet Show is about is obviously put on by a veteran myself, who served in the Army. And we're here to talk about things like pulp culture, mental health, food, sports, drinks, you name it. And today we're going to talk about, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the state of toy collecting this day. A lot of us here who watch the show, like you tell by behind me, we collect quite a bit of stuff here. And I know Michael has a huge collection as well. And one of the things that we've come to see, especially in these days, is it's getting harder as a collector to collect. From anywhere from inventory to people just buying everything up. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. What are some things that are still positive about collecting and what's some of the things that are hurting? Michael, what really got you, before I get into my story about collecting, what really got you into collecting? What was that thing that clicked that said, hey, I need to collect every vintage Boba Fett I can get my hands on? What was it for you that made you become a collector?
Well, when I was a little kid, I was playing AAA Steve Blass Baseball League in Torrington, Connecticut. And I was playing first base, and the third baseman, who also switched over to second eventually, we became friends. And he was really into Star Wars and really into G.I. Joe, and he had all the toys. So I dug out my brother's old toys from my grandma's attic, and we used to have sleepovers and stuff, and we used to play with the toys. And that's where we started collecting, because I was born in 1980, so it was already over by the time I had any kind of lawn mowing money to spend on Star Wars figures. So what happened is we would go around to the antique shops or tag sales or stuff like that and try to build our Star Wars collection. And the wonderful thing is Kenner made it super easy, because on the back there was an entire checklist of everybody you needed. So it was very simple, even in the analog days of the 80s, to get not get every single one, but to know what you were supposed to have and what you were missing, with a really easy guide right on the back of every card back, which was genius. Yeah. So we were collecting back then. I put it all in the closet when I got into football in college and learned what a kegger was and stuff like that. And then I did college, and, the funny thing is I run 27 Facebook groups about collecting vintage toys and mostly Star Wars stuff. And one of my admins, the main admin guy, the guy that's like my second in command sort of deal, Jason Annable, I went to college with him. And we never knew each other even liked Star Wars at all until 8-9 years after college. And that's just because, when you're that age, you I don't know, it's girls and it's beers and it's football and baseball and this, that, and the other. And it's certainly not, oh, gee, I sure like Star Wars. Boba Fett's a cool action figure. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy because you're too cool at that time, I guess. But then I got married many years later, and I was living down in Tennessee, and my wonderful wife, for our anniversary, bought me a Luke Stormtrooper. Vintage Luke Stormtrooper. So I put it up on the shelf, and I said, I'm going to get all my stuff back from my mom. Called up my mom, got all the tubs back. I drove them back from Connecticut. So excited to open them up. They're 90% power to Force 2 and garbage. And, but you always think from being a little kid that, you have the best collection in the world just waiting in that bin, but you open the bin and it was like literally garbage. And, I was like, well, you know what? The saddest thing is and I still have one shelf in my collection room that is just dedicated to the old stuff I have. So people will walk in and they'll see carded vinyl cape Jawas, carded Boba Fett's all over the place, very, very expensive things. And then they'll look at one shelf and it's like, That's like a really ruined Hoth base and a bunch of figures with no accessories. Like, what is that doing here? And I'm like, those are mine when I was little, you know? And, but I always loved it. And when she got me that one Luke Stormtrooper, put him on the shelf. Loneliest thing on a shelf is a single figure. So I started buying them again. And then I would buy them, and it snowballed out of control. Started giving them away for free. People said that I was giving them away for free in order to steal people's addresses so I could steal their collections. So I said, forget you. I'm going to start my own Facebook group where I can give away figures for free and people won't care. And that's where the IC started. Yep. And that was 10 years ago now. Yeah, in 2018, we started up the convention. And ever since then, but the convention has just come from like meetups and stuff, man. I mean, it was just a meetup of nerd friends, and now it's just snowballed into a meetup of many nerd friends. What's amazing, we let the local people attend just to be nice.
You know, what's amazing to me with collecting these days is not only, as for me, as my collecting story is a little bit different because I was one of those kids that lost all my collectibles. My grandfather got a hold of them and all went to Goodwill and everything else, and that was it. And one of the things that got me back into collection, obviously, was when I got back from Afghanistan, and dealing with some of the PTSD and, the anxiety and stuff like that. And it was nice to go out there and collect, but it wasn't just the collecting for me that put it all together. It was the friendships you built collecting, because, I started back up in the heat of the Funko stuff and everything else like that. And I remember meeting a lot of friends that I'm, like our family today, that we used to wait in line at Target in the morning. And when it was like really fun to go do it, and that stuff was going to be there, and, and able to pick up a thing here and there, and just, everybody helped each other out. And it was such a good time in collecting. And obviously, like Star Wars is one of my main things, but you can tell behind me, I'm a little bit guy of everything back there. But to me, it's amazing the friendships that we've made in collecting. And like for you, we met, when you first started this convention, and, today I can't think of not having anyone else on the show sometimes when we talk about some of this stuff, because that's just, your collection is amazing there. And over on Instagram, again, sorry, Instagram, your videos, your comments won't pop up on here, but I want to make sure I give you a shout out. Glowfather just joined and said, "What's up, guys? What's up, Greg? Rogue for life." Glowfather, good to see you on there. If you guys have any input, anybody, please feel free to ask questions. YouTube, Facebook, we want to hear your inputs and anything you want to ask us as well. But the collecting world is just, it's amazing how some of it, I want to say kind of the OGs, because we've all really grown up together in this collecting world. And I say grown up because we're still kids. And the friendships are there, the collecting's there, the stuff that we find now. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit. Like, I know we collect a lot of vintage and old stuff too, but it's kind of disappointing for somebody who's really wanting to get into the collecting market these days, because, if you are kind of like the new Black Series figures, or you're looking for some Lego sets, or you're looking for this, it's getting really hard. And I know for you, you own a shop, so you obviously are selling,
my wife owns a shop.
Well, your wife.
I have no power or strength in the shop. Do not ask me. I don't know what a Pokemon is.
That's right. I keep forgetting the wife owns that one, so I'll let you off the hook on that one. But it's just amazing that today you can go into these these stores, and next thing you know, everything is just empty. Pegs are empty, and it's not just because of obviously inventory issues, which is a big part of it. But we're starting to see people buy up everything, hoping to make a buck on it. I mean, what have you seen, and what do you think has been the biggest downfall in collecting these days, to where, where we used to have those fun, let's go meet at Target, let's get everything. But now, like, a lot of people don't even do that anymore, because they know that there's not really a chance to that.
Well, here's the hook, man. And I think it's two things as far as modern collecting. What's up, Flex? How you doing? I think it's two things as far as modern collecting that have really, stifled what you're talking about, the meeting up at Target. When's the last time you went to the grocery store?
Be yesterday.
Okay. Did you notice, or did you happen to almost get run over by numerous people shopping for the send in the online shopping?
Not really. It was pretty
see,
dead
around where I am, man, that's all you see. You go in there and you're fighting with these giant carts because everybody's online shopping. The online thing, it was It was a thing back in the day, but it has created something so new with COVID, dude. Everybody stayed home. So once that happened, like you walk into a store, walk into Walmart. When's the last time you saw a Walmart filled with stock? And the reason why is they don't have to anymore. Essentially, those places are gigantic warehouses for online shopping that are local locations for warehouses. And it's really turned into that. So stuff is not out on time. A lot of their workforce, if you notice, stores are way dirtier. Not to be that guy, I'm not picking on anything, but I'm saying they haven't made the full transition from retail store into online retail. So what you're doing is you're shopping in a retail store that has half the staff dedicated to only online shopping. So you lose the person that cleans the shelves or front faces the shelves or brings out the items when they're supposed to be brought out. And then so that's kind of killed that thing. You don't have the stock worker at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday that's supposed to be cracking open those pops. And if he ain't, you're asking if they're in the back. Because they're not anymore. That stock worker is, pulling the online orders for the morning. So it's made it so it's jarred up the retail industry so much, the COVID thing did, and with the way people shop a lot more online after COVID, that it's hard to meet at XYZ store at this time of day because you don't know if that's when they're going to release them or not.
Exactly.
Stuff just randomly shows up wherever. And I think the other major problem, man, and as I realized this the other day, I bought, because I buy some modern too. If I like it, I'll buy it. But I bought that, the Captain Enoch 4-pack.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, really cool. I even got a vintage Tron and ripped it off the package because I was like, I'm putting that together. And, but it was really cool, but it was like $60 or something for 4 figures. I don't remember what it was, which seems insane, but whatever. Pricing is a different story. But I had to pay for that like a year ago. Like I ordered that a year ago. Think of all the HasLab stuff and Hasbro stuff and new releases and Black Series and Hot Toys and everything new. They're trying to take your money 6 months ahead of time so they don't have to pay for anything. Yep. They don't have to pay for the manufacturing process anymore. And it's completely insane that we have allowed this to just totally take over our community. And it really has, man. Think about it. When's the last thing that there wasn't a pre-order for 6 months in advance? So you're paying for the manufacturing of the item. The thing is, us as collectors, even me, I just bought that Captain Enoch thing. We just do it. You know what I mean? Which is a bummer. So I'm sitting there hoping it's not going to be destroyed from the shipping and, but it's the way collecting has become. Go ahead.
And when I look at things like that too, and you talk about the pre-ordering and stuff, and I think another thing that's really kind of diluting and kind of killing the market is the exclusives. I mean, if you think about it before, like think about the days of Children Palace. You walked in there, pegs were full, there was always stuff in there, and it was always for everybody. Like it was at the other stores. And then today, you have, this Black Series figure is only Walmart exclusive. This Black Series figure is only Target exclusive. And then the pre-orders sell out before you can even, get a shot at it. I mean, bots are killing it. Everything. It's getting harder, like you said, to do that online, atmosphere as well, because for one, you have to be there at the crack of dawn or you're not getting it. And if it's something that's definitely, it's going to be popular or a limited account, you have to have very quick fingers or a bot or you're not getting it.
Right.
And it's getting to be now where a lot of collectors have to go to the secondary market to buy things. And I think that's really kind of pushing, I've had some friends that just completely have gotten out of it because it's pushed them, far away, especially on the Funko scene. That scene was hot for the longest time. And then the exclusives took it over and really kind of crushed it a little bit. Yeah, Funko is still hot, but it's not like it was back when they first came out. Then we also here, we got Glowfather Walmart's the worst for online shopping. We also would love to see a few sneak releases for new media items in the store before they're online. Yeah, and we don't see a lot of that stuff anymore, and it's kind of depressing in a way because it's, there's things that I want that I know that I'm not going to be able to get. Like you, I'm a huge Boba Fett fan, and I used to try to get every Boba Fett Funko thing I could, and then finally when they started releasing those, 100 counts and things like that, I was like, I'm done. There's just no way I can keep doing it, and I'm not paying this. So that's one of the things I see with the online experience is just these exclusives. It's just everything's exclusives now, and like
one of the biggest problems back in the day is like when you lined up for stuff and stuff like that, it would be one human being and you'd have to run to Target, then to Walmart, then to whatever. And that would like buffer you, for lack of a better word. It would slow you down. Now it can be one person sitting at home with 3 computers in front of them.
Yep.
Shoot, I'm not going to lie. For my Celebration VIP tickets, I had 8 computers running in the queue. 8.
Yep.
I mean, that's the only way to compete nowadays. And I'm not gonna be that guy, but also, go buy Easy Sniper for eBay. I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's just the way the entire market has changed that way, where if you don't have Easy Sniper, somebody's going to get in that bid in the last 10th of a second that does.
Yep.
Or some kind of bidding program. And that's just the way it's become. So it is allowed one human being to do the running around to numerous stores of 10.
Yeah, and it's just making it. It's just for collecting. It's tough now, and that's one of the things. And I'm still like a huge, like, for me, for example, I still like Funko stuff. I'm a huge fan of the Funko sodas. Anyone who knows me, I am crazy over those things, because that's the one thing so far that still, to me, in collecting has a level playing field for getting one of those Chase figures. And the reason why I say is because you have to crack open, the soda to see if you got the Chase, where in the store, and if an employee or somebody sees it right away, they see that orange sticker, it's gone. And that's why I'm a huge fan of like the Funko soda stuff, because it's like a mystery. I like to gamble a little bit, and I still have a good chance for getting that.
I think Andrea got one of those where she lucked out. She got the Jawa or whatever, and it was like a number 1 or something. I know nothing about Funkos.
Yeah, it's one of those.
But she's like, "Oh my God, can you believe it's this one?" I'm like, "Oh, that's great, baby."
That's that whole, like, over there by the kind of right in there. That's all sodas back there. Just because
nice, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of them, because you
That's
have
cool.
that level chance in collecting, and that still feels good, because I can't tell you, like in the Funko days, and even like with the Hasbro, like with the ships and the microships, I can't tell you the last time I've seen an actual Chase figure of anything sitting on the shelves in the stores. Because if you look at our marketplace, a lot of our Walmart employees have them on sale for marketplace, because they're not even getting to the sales floor. And it's one of those things now where those rare ones you're just not going to get anymore. And again, welcome everybody. Jeremy, thank you for watching. Paul as well. Tom, I'm glad to have you guys on all of our streams here. It's great to have you guys here. Again, we are talking about toy collecting right now, and then we're going to be jumping into ICCCon, and I cannot wait to talk about some of the guests that are going to be there, and we're also going to be announcing another guest tonight, which they just keep coming. I can't believe how Michael's just shoving them all in here. We might need another hotel. But to you though, what would you tell somebody? Because I've had a few friends that kind of want to get back into the thing. What would you tell somebody who was wanting to get back into collecting or start collecting for their first time?
Well, you know what I would definitely say? I would say 2 things. Collecting, first and foremost, it's not about the most toys. It's not about the most expensive toys. It's not about the rarest toys. Every single collection. Now, I have seen thousands and thousands and thousands of collections, tens of thousands of collections over my time collecting and seeing rooms like yours or rooms like my room upstairs and stuff like that. And every single one has been completely different. Maybe they have a lot of the same items, but those items are never placed the same. They're never in the same kind of displays. They're never like, look at that section of sodas that you have. I have not seen that many sodas in one place in a prime position like that, but that's what you like. And that's what's wonderful, is it actually shows you that person's personality and it speaks for you. You know what I mean? So that's collecting. People have to get my collection isn't as good as whomever's collection out of their head, because every single collection is completely equal. I don't care if you have 5 rocket firing Boba Fett's and your collection is worth $40 million versus somebody with 3 regular Boba Fett's and their collection is worth $80. If you have more than one figure on a shelf or more than one item on a shelf, that is a collection. You are a collector. You just keep getting the ones you like when you see them for the prices you like. I think we have to get out of this completist attitude. Honestly, brother, when I was first doing Mint on Cards and stuff, and now I've been lucky enough and blessed that I have lots of stuff. But I did I wanted to do all the Mint on Cards with coins, the vintage, very expensive Power of the Force Mint on Cards with the coin. So I did that, and it took me 2 years, and I did every last single one, made a cool video, got a bazillion likes on it kind of deal, But then I was sitting there, and they're all on there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, you know what? That is a $700 Tebow, and I don't even like Tebow. Why do I have that? And the only reason why I had it was to complete that collection. So I got rid of a lot of those, and I ended up just buying loose Boba Fett's because I love loose Boba Fett's. And when I was a little kid, I never had a loose Boba Fett. The AT-AT driver was my Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Just because Boba Fett didn't come around. And so that chase figure thing has always been like that. It's just worse now. If you think about it, back in the day, man, you never bought a 2-pack or overstock or anything with a Boba Fett in it. They sold out. Everybody bought them, you know? So that's the same kind of thing that happens nowadays. So I would highly suggest, first, you remember that every collection is equal, doesn't matter what's in it. This is because it's somebody's personality, and that's a wonderful thing. And very seldom can you look into somebody's heart and soul like you can if you're looking in their collection room.
Yeah.
But the second thing that we have to remember is only get what you like. The completest thing is silly. And if you want to complete stuff, that's fine. But if you're doing like, I need number 174, what's number 174? I don't know, but I'm missing it. That's not good, you know, because then you're just collecting numbers, and you may as well get an Excel spreadsheet and save yourself some money.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, like when I started, I did that. I went down the dark side and was trying to be that completist. Yeah. And I realized how much stress it puts you under. And like, you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't care. I'm spending this much. And I realized how dumb that was. So like you said, I collect what I like. I enjoy it. You know, I have fun with it. And there's so many great things. I'm seeing some great comments right now. I want DJ, I'm going to bring your comment back up because this was a good one here. Collect what you like, not what you think you need, which is a good one. Over on Instagram, Glowfather has collect what you love, not for profit, which is also another very great point. And, you know, it just keeps going. Like, you know, you see all these collectors here. Jeremy, thank you for your service, Jeremy. Jeremy's actually a South Bend police officer here up in Indiana, and also served here with the Indiana National Guard. So, Jeremy, thank you very much. We appreciate your service as well. Or I think Michigan National Guard. I'm sorry. I don't want to get those two confused, you know, because even though Indiana is better.
That's all right. It's all America. Thank you for your service.
But yeah, it's just, you know, we collect for fun, and that's one of the things about it. I mean, I always get asked this crazy question. I have it here. Like, what's the craziest thing you have in your collection? And everyone's waiting for me to pull out like a $2,000 piece. And I always like just to show this one. If you guys can see it, it's a Futurama candle with Fry signed by Billy West. And to me, it cracks me up because it's just funny. I love Futurama. It's just something that not everybody has, and it cost me a whole $10 for the candle. That's one of my favorite things in the collection. Oh, canned air.
But I mean, it's stupid, and it was like $1, but I love it.
So that's what people just have fun with things, and that's what I can tell you the most is have fun collecting, build those friendships that people. I'll tell you, so many people help me out with things. Like there's some things I know I can't get, or if I have an appointment, some people help out there. But everybody, I will say this: don't stress over collections.
Yeah. Plus, remember, it's a double-edged sword because we have the internet. It is so easy to find anything.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be that guy, you can't find everything, and it's not easy to find everything. And the difficulties that Greg was talking about, I completely agree with. That's not what I mean. But what I mean is, do you remember what it was like trying to find a yak face in like 1993 in America? Like, it's not a thing. I mean, if you remember back in the day before the internet and before these giant Walmarts and Kmarts and whatnots, I mean, you used to have a KB toy store. They would get like 4 of the thing. And if you weren't the guy that got it, that was that. Yep. You never saw it again. You couldn't just hop on eBay and snag one. It was gone. So, yeah.
So with that, everybody, I just want to thank you guys for the collecting aspect. It's a weird state these days, but don't lose hope. There is stuff out there. And with that, there's one little segment I'm going to put on here. This started as a joke, but I was told I needed to do this just because everyone gets a little laugh out of this the last time I did that. But we're really going to talk about what grinds Greg's gears in collecting. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I can't stand, and Mike, you've probably seen this too. And as a Funko collector, all right, people, I told you I like the sodas out there. Stop opening them in stores and looking for the chase. All right. You got a 1 in 6 chance. Grab 1 or 2, go home, do it. Quit opening stuff in the store and looking for the mysteries. Have some fun with it. It's always fun to pop open a mystery box or anything. So that's what grinds my gears. Go out there, enjoy it, have some fun. Who cares if you get a couple doubles here and there? Go out there and chase those chases and do it the right way and quit ruining it for everybody else.
Are they ripping them open? Are they unsealing them, or
yeah,
are
they're
they not
unsealing the
sealed?
plastic, popping it because like they have the little. I got a couple regular like they have these little chips in them that'll tell you if it's the chase or not without opening the bag on the inside, so you can tell if you got it. So a lot of people look at that and go, "Oh, okay, I got it." But I had to throw that segment up there. It was just
I've got to grind my gear. Could I do one?
Do it.
All right, cool. You know what really grinds my gear? When giant manufacturing companies like Hasbro don't put a piece of tape on it to make it sealed. Or took our bubbles. They take our bubbles, but they send it to you in a giant box with 8,000 bubbles. And it's like, it's never officially sealed. Dude, when I got the katana, right? The big katana from HasLab, I was so ticked off because they didn't spend a tenth of a cent for a piece of tape. So there's a distinguishable difference between mint and sealed box and somebody messed with it. And that kind of stuff does drive me nuts. So there you go. There's my grind my gear. They've taken away our bubbles. They just need just like the only problems with any of the Disney stuff, they need a hardcore Star Wars fan there just to tell them the little things to tweak. And that's the same thing these companies need. Dude, I don't understand if they had any collector on the planet in that Hasbro meeting where they're like, we're going to take away the little thin sheet of plastic on a figure that shows that it's sealed, but we're still going to make the plastic figure.
Yep.
I can't believe it. It's insane. What's it?
So this is Christopher here. Seems like this convention's good for the attendees. Also be good to the staff members. Christopher, I can tell you right now, this convention is good to all of its workers, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. If you're not familiar with ICCC, we're going to talk about it right now. So going from the collection, because you can obviously find collection stuff there. Again, Nashville this year in October. Cannot wait. ICCCon or ICCC. Michael, for those who aren't too familiar about it, can you tell us a little bit about this convention and how you got started?
Yeah, for sure. It's called the Imperial Commissary Collectors Convention, or ICCC. That's what all this means. And it got started, like I was saying before about the Facebook groups. I started a Facebook group, which ballooned into 27 Facebook groups. And now the main Facebook group accounts for more buying, selling, and trading of authentic vintage Star Wars toys than anywhere else in the world, including eBay. So that grew and grew and grew. And what happened is we became a community. So we talked and we, hung out. And if we were in town, we'd stop by, see each other's collections. And then it became a thing where people on the IC said, hey, why don't we do a meetup? And I said, sure, I'll do a meetup. I'm going to Lexington Comic-Con. Does anybody have a place we could do a meetup? One of the IC members reached out, said he had a comic book store in Lexington and we could do it there. So we did the very first IC meetup. It had 15 people. I bought Little Caesars Pizza and we watched Revenge of the Jedi on one of those old school projectors from your grade school that tick, 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 tick. And so we watched that and we hung out. And then we bought, sold, and trade and stuff like that, because that's what we do. And Kim Simmons, the guy who took all the pictures really for Kenner and most of them for all the Power of the Force 2 line and all that, he showed up. And he had stories and he had some artwork, and that was awesome. And that was unexpected. And that's where that legend of the IC started, where all of a sudden at some random comic book store where we were eating pizza, the guy who took all the pictures for Kenner showed up. So then the next time we threw it, it was 30 people. And the next time it was 80 people. And the next time it was 200 people. And then 500 people. And then I was going to throw an IC meetup in Nashville, Tennessee. And that's where I live. And I went to go rent the room, and it was 4,000 square feet. And the lady said, well, there isn't much difference in price between the 4,000 square foot room or the 179,000 square foot rodeo. And I was like, well, shoot. All right, let's take it. So we took the rodeo, 178,000 square feet. I never threw a convention before. And I started cold calling movie stars. And I got William Shatner, and I was like, hey, listen, he said he would come. So my pitch was, my name is Michael Havens. I run ICCCon, and we're going to be putting William Shatner. Actually, it used to be ICCC. We didn't say the con part. And we're going to put William Shatner in a barn in Franklin, Tennessee. And some really, really crazy people like this man I'm sitting across from here came out and checked it out. And it was just starting out, and it was a good con, but I did see how somebody said, do you treat the employees nice? Do you treat? Yep. They are my employees. None of them. We're all volunteers. We are a conglomerate of nerd friends that help out to create something magical that doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, man, I mean, you're not my employee, Greg. I ever tell you what you can and cannot videotape or anything?
Nope.
No, but you come and you help every year, you give us media. So that's what it is. There is no money. We don't even add on money to guest stars' autograph prices. That's why our autograph prices are cheaper than anybody else in the world. And it's just because we are not a corporate entity. We are just a bunch of nerds that happen to be good at our other real life jobs. In real life, I own a logistics company, a trucking company, and a logistics brokerage. So that's why I'm very good at logistics, and a con is logistics. My convention manager, Philip Brown, he happens to be the convention manager for all the Rotary Club of America conventions. So he just happens to know how to do that. Security, same thing, happens to be an Army Ranger and collects Boba Fett. You know what I mean? So all our different sections come from people that want to do it, and I don't restrict them. For example, the guy that runs table games, I just give him a room. All those sabacc tournaments and this is how to play Dungeons and Dragons and this and that, that's all him. I don't do any of that. Magic games, all that. I don't even know how to play Magic. I don't know what a Pokemon is. So I know better than to try to tell anybody that does know what those things are how to do their thing. You know what I mean? Even video games, I don't do anything. All I do is I pay for the prizes. I make sure they got trophies, stuff like that. And I make sure that there's movie stars there, and I make sure everybody has tables and chairs and pipe and drape and paper towels and tickets, and you know what I mean? I do all the logistics in the back end work. But as far as the magic you see, some of it I create, but a lot of it is separate places. I mean, the guy who does the tattoo section, because we do tattoos at the con if you want. Well, it's not like we just give them to you if you want them, but we have a tattoo section where you can get, really, really good tattoos. And they're actually on their own volition completely are bringing in some Lucasfilm artists from I think Canada, and they're going to run a 2-day tattoo competition for whoever gets the biggest, best tattoo at the convention or something like that. I have absolutely nothing to do with it. And I'm not even purchasing the trophy because he wants a certain kind of trophy. So I was like, fine, bro, go for it. I'm just giving them the room. But that's why none of the aspects of this convention are me being the boss and people being the employees.
So you're pretty much telling me I need to take some time out for a tattoo while I'm there. I have no problem with that.
If you want to, man, they are some of the best tattoo artists in the world. They do mine. I would never get a subpar tattoo person. But they're going to be the best of the best, and they know what they're doing when it comes to Star Wars tattoos for sure.
And I want to piggyback a little bit. Christopher Graham here has been posting a lot of good questions about the con and everything.
Read them to me because I can hardly see them. I'm on a little one of those foldable iPhone phones.
Star Wars Celebration used to be like a big family having a party. The way Star Wars Celebration was before Darth Mickey. Christopher, I'll tell you this, as somebody, there's a reason why I have Michael come on my show. We started really doing this a couple years ago, and there's a reason why I invite Michael onto the show. For number one is because of how this convention has grown, not as a corporate entity, but as a family entity. And the reason why I say that is I'm going to show you a couple pictures here. How many times can you be at a convention when you're sitting there drinking with all the Boba Fett actors?
There is all the Boba Fett actors in that picture with 5 people and you. Congrats, bro.
How many conventions can you sit there and, I'm sitting there, again, another Boba Fett actor having a beer, having a good time. And like you said, this is as a media person, because everyone knows I also write for the hashtag show, and I'm just now branching off a little bit, doing some of my own nerdy vet stuff. And what's nice is when there's some downtime, you can talk to the celebrities. I can interview them. I can sit there and have a chat with them and, do a quick one thing here and there with them, where it's not where other conventions, I've had people wanted me to delete my pictures because I took a picture of the autograph alley from a distance, but I still wasn't allowed to do it.
Actually, I will not allow any guest stars to come that require a cave.
Yeah,
I don't care if you invented Star Wars. You do not go in a cave. If a 5-year-old wants to walk by and take a picture, they should darn well be allowed to.
Yeah. And so, Christopher, when you talk about family, there's people here that I talk to on a daily basis. There's Star Wars actors that I talk to on a daily basis now. There's people that I made friends with that, that it's now family to me. So that's why I have Michael on here for these, because it's something that if you're a convention goer like myself, you like that kind of atmosphere and you want to be kind of in a stress-free, more fun area. Because I'll tell you what, the convention's fun, but it's the after hours is where we have a lot of our good times. And that's where, it's
that's because we ensure that there's the environment where you can do that.
Yeah.
That's very important to us. Honestly, man, one of my things I always say is what I'm really going for is I'm going for literally the best sleepover in the history of the world. So we do a lot of things that are horrible business decisions, but that make that experience special. Like I'm sure you're going to talk about the room sales and all that, this and the other. But the thing is think no other convention would allow that because it takes money from the convention. But my dream is for everyone to come attend this convention and to literally leave with a little bit more money than you came with.
Yep. Yeah. It's just, it's unreal. Like, it's like you said, the room sales are fun. Like, I can't tell. You see that KB Toys bag? I picked that up in the room sale last year. Like, I'm like, oh my God, it's a KB Toys
That's
bag.
awesome.
I got to put that. I need it. So I picked that up in the room sales. Scott Baker, who makes the standouts. You see the ICCCon Boba Fett behind me here.
Yeah.
There's just so many random different things. Because I can tell you right now, I never once bought an action figure or something at your convention. I have bought random weird things. And that's what I loved about it, is stuff that I found like, oh, this is different. Why is there a Godzilla and a Darth Vader helmet? Like,
oh yeah, you'll find the weird stuff at this con for sure.
And that's what I like about it. It's just you got your figures, but then you got all kinds of different things and different vendors there as well.
Well, do you know how we're able to do that? Not to pick on your pop thing, but I really try to not have much pops because pops are generally accessible at every convention in piles. Yeah. What I try to do is I keep my vendor tables the price really low, so that way people that sell vintage or sell the weird stuff can come. Yep. You know what I mean? If you're paying $3,000 for a table, you can't exactly be selling fry votive candles. You know what I mean? And some of those are cool. And it also allows us to weed out anything super racy or what we feel is inappropriate. And it's not like we're, big Bible belt thumping people or whatever. It's just that when we were little kids and playing Star Wars, it wasn't about like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was about Star Wars and happiness and relaxation. Yep. So something that I'd like to touch on that you were talking about before, we go through and we try to not only make a safe, fun environment for everybody to hang out and really have that sleepover atmosphere, but we do a lot of things that nobody ever sees. Like we send through teams to walk through the vendor tables and check for repro. If repro is found, they have to remove it or they'll be removed. Yeah. No other convention in the world does that. I've been to any convention you go to, you can walk up to a repro dealer. It's insane. You're never going to walk down the aisle and see a T-Mobile booth or something for rain gutters. I don't want to just rip you out of the magic like that and be like, hey, you want to talk about your insurance plan? That's bonkers to me, but it happens. And the reason why it happens, all these things are very good business decisions, but this is not my business. This is what I do for fun.
Yeah. And it's just the vendors there. It's always, you feel safe. You're not buying something that's junk. And you're taken care of there, and that's like
even anything pervy. We make them remove anything pervy. It's yeah,
and it's very family oriented. I can tell you, the kids, like when the cosplayers come by and the droids and everything else, it's just in a great feeling. People, if you have not been there, you need to go. Like it's again one of my favorite conventions, and I go to a lot of conventions. And this one, I'm not saying that because Michael's here, because I would say if he wasn't here. It's one of those ones that I look forward to every year because I'm ready to meet my collecting family, in Nashville and have a good time. So obviously that atmosphere is great. So let's talk about the guest atmosphere. So this convention has grown every year. Each year, I don't think it can get any better. Each year, I'm like, okay, Michael's overdone himself. He's not going to do it this year. And I think I think it was 11 or 12. I lost count when I was putting the slides together today. But we're going to go over some of the guests here. And then at the end, we're going to announce another one that if you are an original trilogy fan, you're going to want this one because it's one that you don't see every day at a convention. So let's go through some of the guests that's already been announced. And we'll talk about our friend from The Mandalorian, good old Chris Bartlett here.
He is so nice, man. He is so nice.
Yeah, Chris has just been one of those guys that, you know, I met him a few times, talked to him at Celebration. I mean, if you see the droid in the Mandalorian, he probably played it. He's the new C-3PO. It's what the
He
future of
was
our
even the
droid.
dude with the flute that called the land speeder in like what, the first or second one?
Yep. And then obviously we have announced Amy Allen as well. So if you want to get one of your Jedis, you know, I know she has there's a pop out there, whatever. This is again another one that you don't see at a lot of cons. You see her pop up here and there, but it's nice to have her down in Nashville there as well. This one, Michael, I'll let you talk about good old Biggs a little bit. You know, how did you get this one? Because this is not one you see in the US all the time.
Yeah, no, I luckily enough, man, I'll tell you, we're really blessed for our location. Nashville, Tennessee, two reasons. Nashville, Tennessee is super duper fun, and most collector guys can really easily convince their non-collector wives to come spend a weekend in Nashville. So that helps. But also because everybody overseas thinks Nashville and country music and cowboys are so nifty. We have a direct flight from London, which we have no business of having being in the middle of the United States, but we do. So I take full advantage of that. Plus, my brother graduated from Oxford, and I have a lot of friends over there in England and stuff like that. So I have the already connections there, which is great, and it allows me to get people like this. Garrick Hagen, I don't remember the last time if he's ever been to the States, but he's Biggs Darklighter. He is somebody who we all know from the original trilogy, who, I mean, you can't tell me you don't want to meet him. Yeah. And he's also many other things, but I'm able to get these people from England, and it also makes my pitch to them easy because I call them up and I say, "Hey, Garrick, I'd love to have you at my convention." "Oh, where is it?" You know, and they're like, they've already been to New York, but nobody's been to Nashville, and everybody over there wants to go to Nashville. So I'm telling you, I have the perfect pitch, and that's the only reason why is. You tell somebody from England, "Hey, you want to come on down to the sunshine in Nashville, have some sweet tea and biscuits?" And they're like, "Woo, yeah, let's go." So that's really good, and that's why I've been able over the years to get a lot of. There you go. There's another one. Yep. A lot of really, really hard to get English celebrities. And there you go, Paul Blake, Greedo, you know, get your Greedos signed. He's got really, really cool stories of Cantina filming and stuff like that. And he's a really nice guy, but he never comes to America.
No. Yeah, that was an awesome one I saw because I was like, hey, there's an autograph I need. So.
Yeah, you don't run into him enough.
Yep.
Guy Gilchrist he's wonderful.
Is awesome. Like his art is just amazing. You guys have seen his art. If you're not familiar with him, Google him, then you'll realize who he is.
All the Muppet Babies are him. A lot of the Ninja Turtles, stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah, he's been. How many has he been? He's been. I think been the last few. I know that
he's been to all of them, man. When I threw the first one, he happens to live in Nashville, and when I threw the first one, I had one guy, John Silva, I think, and he made something with VeggieTales or something. But he knew these other artists that happen to live in Nashville, and he's like, "Would you be interested in?" And that's when I talked to Guy, and he is such a sweetheart. We've had him every year because, man, even for pop collectors like you, have you got a pop done by him?
Yes.
Because like he cartoons the whole outside of the pop, and then he'll sign his name and everything. They're really, really cool. Yeah, so he comes every year because he's right down the road. That doesn't even cost me a plane flight. So Guy is always welcome.
Now this next one here, if you are a Thrawn fan, this one is very exciting. Obviously Timothy's on. Like, how awesome is that to have Timothy there? He does a lot of conventions, but it doesn't matter. He's an amazing guy. If you've never talked to him, you want to meet him there. So that was
he's what kept Star Wars alive for us between 1986 and 1996, man. Without his Heir to the Empire trilogy, we would have had nothing.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you guys, if you're a Thrawn's fan, you need Thrawn's like it's a team. Thrawn fan, you definitely want to get that signature. And what's really nice is I believe on his books, he usually doesn't charge for his books. So he's pretty good. I don't know how this is going to be for this convention, but he's usually pretty good with signatures on how he does it. I don't know if he started.
Yeah, I think he charges for them since like 2000. It's, you know what? As soon as Disney made the Thrawn live action thing, He's had to charge for them because his lines are insane.
Maybe.
But also, if you like buy a book, he gives it to you for free or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's usually what it is if you buy the book. And
he's the nicest guy in the history of the world, and I guarantee you he's doing it for as cheaply as possible, whatever he does. Yep. He's super nice, man.
All right, Dennis Lawson. I mean, you got good old Wedge here.
Wedge Antilles, man, the best starfighter pilot in the galaxy. That's actually my X-Wing down there on the bottom. If you zoom in on it really close, you can see there's 2 Death Stars, a bunch of TIE fighters, and an AT-AT. Because Wedge is the only guy to take down 2 Death Stars. Even Luke wasn't around for the second one. So
that is very true on that one. And then, obviously, back to the Mandalorian. Brandon Wayne. This is if you guys aren't familiar, this is the great grandson of John Wayne, I believe.
Great grandson of John Wayne. He is the man in the suit. He does a lot of the action scenes, a lot of the scenes in the suit, and also now that Pedro Pascal is so massively huge and fancy, I heard that next season he's not even in the suit; he's in a media booth or whatever, right? I heard he's in a like a voiceover booth. Yeah, so this is the guy who is in the Mandalorian suit. So this is the Mandalorian, at least according to me. Plus, this is kind of a thing for me because the first time I saw even Mandalorian previews, I was like, that is so cool. The Mando walks just like John Wayne. And then all of a sudden it ends up being John Wayne's great grandson, which was a mind exploder for me. So that's why I've always wanted to meet him, never had the opportunity. I want him to come on out.
Yeah, it's that's a good one. I met him a few times as well over in New York and stuff like that. Now, this one is pretty interesting because this one is kind of like the voice of Star Wars.
Yes.
Which a lot of people don't understand when I say that. But if you listen to the audiobooks, things like this, I heard him in New York at a panel, and just his voice when he talks about it and everything. What led you to this one? Because this was kind of unique, one that you don't see all the time.
Well, we got Timothy Zahn, man, and I mow my lawn. Like, honestly, I don't know what 90% of the characters are on his picture. But no, when I mow my lawn, the Timothy Zahn books, he reads all the Timothy Zahn books. So for all the audiobooks for Timothy Zahn and a lot of other Star Wars and a lot of other stuff, but all the Timothy Zahn audiobooks he reads. I listen to him on my lawnmower every time I mow my lawn for about 4 hours at a clip. Every other week. So I wanted to meet him ever since forever, man. His voice of Grand Admiral Thrawn is the definitive voice of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Everybody else is trying their best to copy it, but they're not. He is the best. They should dub the Mickelson dude with him. And not picking on Mickelson because he does a great job. Yeah. But dude, just go to YouTube, check out Mark Thompson, give a listen to his Grand Admiral Thrawn, and you'll be like, wow, that's what Grand Admiral Thrawn is supposed to sound like, man. So yeah, no, I've always wanted to meet him, and I happened to luck out and I got connected with him, and I was like, would you come to my convention? I've been asking him for 3 years, but he's always doing something or recording something, and he's always been like, man, I really want to go, but I got to go to blah blah blah. So finally I was able to get him, and I was excited about that. That's more personal, man. I am a huge Heir to the Empire fan. Yeah. And Mark Thompson reading it, I can even hear it right now in my head. Yeah,
that's just awesome. That's just
narrated by Mark Thompson.
Almost like, do I have him sign my iPad? Like, I don't know what I need to do on that one.
But I'll tell you, the thing is, man, is he is so stupidly famous for everything else except for what I like him for and what I got him for. So I don't know. There's like Pokemon on his picture. If you recognize the thing, that's him too.
And if you're a Bounty Hunter fan, we've got Bounty Hunters there as well. We usually have one every year show up there. Yeah, it's just this lineup just keeps getting better and better as we go, and the announcements just keep getting good.
Well, see, she's a hard one to lock down too, man, because she was like a super famous model that doesn't really sign at conventions.
Yeah, I've only seen her a few times, on a couple of things. Yeah. And then what's awesome, if you named your headliner, which was awesome for many reasons, but there's nothing more swag than Billy D. Williams.
Well, I wanted to use the there's more of us, Poe. I wanted to use that line because I really think there's more of us. You were saying before with the collecting thing and how it's been tougher to collect. And you know what? The only way we're going to fix it is if we stand up together and fix it. I mean, the day none of us buy a HasLab thing is the day they start making them first and then selling them to us. Yep. So there are more of us, and Billy D. Williams is awesome. Plus, I mean, I can't say this definitively, but I'm not sure if he's doing other conventions in the future ever after this one. So I thought it would be awesome to have the last stand of Lando Calrissian at ICCCon, you know?
Yeah, that's a great pickup, guys. I've got to meet Billy D a couple times. It's just amazing just hearing him talk, especially when he talks about not even the Star Wars. Like he'll talk about his, I'm sure in the panel he'll talk about his artwork and and just the things that he does. And I don't care how old he is, he has more game than any of us all put together on this.
Sure enough, man.
He's just swag. That's all.
Dude, I told my mom about it, and she's like, "Ooh, Billy D. Williams, that's awesome."
All right, so that leads us, now that we've hit all the guests in there, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this moment tonight, and you had to stare at our pretty faces for the last 50 minutes. But it is now time to reveal the next guest. So, Michael, if you would like to, let's go ahead and reveal your next guest.
Yeah, Angus McGinnis, gold leader. So he's flying that Y-wing right there. But gold leader, the whole stay on target, loosen up kind of guy. Lighten up or loosen up. Yeah, that's what it is. And I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but like 20 guns, some on the surface, some on the tower, like you can hear it. And that's exactly who he is. He's also super duper famous for a bunch of other stuff. He was in Vikings and he was famous for that. He was in a bunch of different movies. But what we love him for is being another X-Wing pilot. We're going to have a heck of a photo op with original series X-Wing pilots here. And Angus McGinnis is awesome. He's very, very interesting to listen to, and I think he makes a great addition. And he is definitely not last or least to come out. There are more to come, and I'm just excited to have him, man. All these guys from the original trilogy that are from England, it's either incredibly tough or you've never met them or never seen them. But they also... The thing that these guys require is they have to know that they're going somewhere where they're not going to be treated like garbage, where they're not going to be left somewhere. And that requires a lot of years of good reputation to get to that point. So that's why we're able to pull guys like him that you never, ever, ever see, but you've always wanted to. And it's not like you don't have a Y-Wing you want an autograph on, because I sure as heck do. But that's what we try to do. All the characters this year, they have some sort of action figure. Even Mark Thompson, the voice actor, has action figures. You know what I mean? You could have Grand Admiral Thrawn signed by Timothy Zahn, who invented Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like those kind of things, we're really trying to hit that box this year, because it is the Imperial Commissary Collectors Convention, and we're never going to get away from that. This is for collectors, by collectors, no corporations, just fans. And also, something I do want to talk about, since I am on the very first Nerdy Vet show, we give the best discount in the entire world at conventions for military, active duty, retired, first responders. It's 25% off all tickets. To get it, you just go to the main page, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see the logos of all the different armed service branches and stuff like that. Just click right there. You'll tell it when you get there. And you send an email, and they'll ask you what your branches or whatever, they'll have some sort of proof of service, and then you get a coupon code, and that coupon code will get you 25% off general admission and VIP tickets. No other convention in the world does that. The best I have ever seen is 10%. So we double and a half the best. And that's because we appreciate the heck out of you guys. If you weren't out there doing all the tough jobs that there are, we wouldn't be allowed to sit home in our air conditioner with our feet up playing toys. So God bless you, and thank you so much for what you do. Thank you so much for what you have done. And come to a show that appreciates the heck out of you and saves some money at the same time.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Michael, and I appreciate you having you on here today, everybody. Again, I want to thank you all for watching. Again, this is the first Nerdy Vet show. Again, I'm not looking to get 1 million views, 1 million subscribers. I'm here because this is what I love to do. I love talking.
Yes, he is. 1 million subscribers. Like, subscribe, follow. Patron yet? No?
Not yet.
Something else.
Maybe one day. But everybody, just remember out there, it's tough out there sometimes. Collecting even things. And like I said, I use collecting as a form to escape. And if you ever need help, don't be afraid to ask for help, everybody. Mental health is very important. We lose too many friends and families every day to suicide. And there's ways that you can get help. So just remember, you can dial 988. I'll take you right there, the suicide prevention hotline. Ask your friends, ask your family. We're all here for you. We want to see you at the next convention, and it means a lot to all of us. Again, Michael, thank you so much. I want to thank our sponsor, TRG Toys and Collectibles. Thank you, everybody who watched on Instagram today, YouTube, and Facebook. It's been a great show. I can't wait to come back next week with my next show. Who knows what I'll be talking about. But again, everybody, thank you so much. Also, again, everybody, thank you for your service, first responders, military. We love you all. And until then, everybody, be safe. And Michael, thank you again.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, may the force be with you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.